This is In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. Conversations with trailblazers, glass ceiling breakers, and champions for change who inspire and cultivate leaders every day.
I'm back in the black with C. David Moody. And we've been talking about his movie-worthy journey of founding C.D. Moody Construction in Atlanta and turning it into one of the nation's largest black-owned construction firms. David, seeing your name splashed across job sites and work gear after years of growth must have been tremendously gratifying. But now, after so many decades at the helm, what ideals and values do you most want your company's brand to represent?
You know, that's an interesting question. I think my brand represents a couple of things. Quality, a survivor, and a person who gives people an opportunity to shine.
Talk about that next generation that's coming behind you. I know your son and your daughter's in the business.
Right.
Talk about that next generation.
Well, you know, both my kids are here. My son is getting his MBA at Georgia Tech, and he's worked with us 12 years, but he kind of wants to do some IT. So I said, man, go be happy. My daughter just had our grandson who's 18 months, so she's working part-time. But I got some really great people in the company who will take this over, all with my children somehow involved. And I'm excited about that, you know, and I'm really creating opportunities for other people to shine and have ownership eventually. That's my plan. And not just family. It's a mixture of both. It's what's going to make this company last and people want to be here.
Amen. Well, that is the thing, right? So I think you may know, Leonte is president of the company here now. And basically when he came on board, it was like God basically told me to raise him up as a son because when you turn 60, he was going to be the one leading the company. So that was really within 2 weeks of us being together. So I've been, as I said, I've been raising him up as a son for December. We would have been together 17 years. And so it's a beautiful thing. And another Morehouse man, so.
You can't do wrong then. See, first, you got a Morehouse man.
It's a Morehouse man. Yeah.
Now, you can always tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell us much. You know that, right? Okay.
That is the slogan, right?
Hey, listen, I'm sure within the first 3 weeks, he told you how to run that company, didn't he?
No, man, dude. The one thing about him, he might be the one humble Morehouse man left.
Well, no, he just played that game for you. That's all.
He played it well, man. But no, the only reason I didn't go to Morehouse, David, was because I'm born and raised from Atlanta, and I swear everybody in my seed class was going to Morehouse. And so I originally went away to Tennessee State. I don't know if you know that, but I went away to Tennessee State for 2 years before I came back home to Georgia State. And the only reason I went to Georgia State was my sister was working there. I knew I could get a little bit of a better deal, and I could transfer right before all my grades imploded.
You're leaving out an important part of the story.
What's that?
You partied a lot at TSU, didn't you?
That was the reason I had to leave.
No, that's why I was like, I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. You got to see what kids don't understand today is that, back in our day, your grades were mailed home. It might be a month or so before they got there. So
that's a fact.
You could be back on campus before your parents got the grade and you got chewed out. So I know what happened to you at the end of that second year and them grades came. Somebody said, oh, no, I'm really ain't going back up there, buddy. You're going to be right here.
So, hey, my dad, I blame it on my dad, David. He said, if you do well, I'll buy you a car. So freshman year, I had 4.0 because all I did was study. I came back the second year with a brand new Fiat X19 two-seater, Target top. Dave, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. So I went from nerd to playboy on campus. In one semester, I went from a 4.0 to a 2.8. And at Georgia State, you needed a 2.5 to transfer. So that's what I did.
I'm ready to tell you. So, my story goes the opposite. So, I was on my way to a school in Ohio. Architecture school, I was going to play football. And some men from Morehouse up in Ann Arbor said, hey, send your films to Morehouse. I'm like, man, I ain't going down there. But I said, they offered me a scholarship. So my dad said, football scholarship, said, let's go see it, because my dad had a meeting in Atlanta. 1974, April. Never forget it. Coach did the smartest thing of all time. He had a player take me to Spelman at lunchtime. I saw Spelman College and all those women. I said, wait a minute, this across the street? Then he took me to Clark. Then he took me to Morris Brand. I said, wait a minute, all this in one spot? I signed my letter of intent in Spelman's cafeteria, and I never, ever saw them. I didn't even know we didn't have a stadium in Morehouse. We had no, we didn't have no weights. I mean, bro, when I came down here, I said, wait a minute, we ain't got no AC in the room. But, bruh, so anyway, I went to football practice to Spelman. My first semester, I had a 1.6, man. And I graduated on the honor roll. But my daddy wrote that I was a MARTA bus driver the summer of 1977. MARTA used to hire college students to relieve the vacation and bus drivers.
Wow.
So that was my summer job going into my senior year. Bus fare was 15 cents. That's summer job I ever had. It was a dating machine. Loved it. That's a whole other podcast. But anyway,
I have to ask, what was your route? Did you have a fixed route, or you kind of moved around?
Here's the cool thing. I drove a different route every day, but I have to tell you there's two funny stories.
You gotta hear it.
It was 4th of July, 1977. And I'm driving this route by the Federal Pen. And you got to remember, this is before navigation. So you just had a sheet of paper with street signs on it. So I'm struggling, man. I can't find, and this old, beautiful lady had her groceries. She's sitting on the bench seat. She said, baby, don't worry, I'm going to show you. She said, go left, go right, go left. Ooh, stop. She done took me to her house. She went, she went, oh, Lord, I done had to carry my groceries. I went, oh, my God. She done got me all off my route. True story. I got a phone. Go straight to dispatch. I called dispatch. I go, dispatch. I told them what happened. They go, man, we don't even know where you are. So I found 4 boys who had their bikes. I said, man, y'all want to put your bikes on and get me out of here? And these 4 boys put their bikes on the bus, and that's how I got out. You know, that's before social media and all that. I'd have been in trouble. But you got me out. And then the other funny story, that same day, these 4 guys are sitting on a bench seat, and I'm driving, and they went, man, we ought to kick your butt and take this bus. I said, man, you ain't got to kick my butt. You can have this bus. I opened up my big window on the drive. I'm about to go out the window. I'm like, bro, y'all can have this bus. They started laughing and said, man, keep driving. So I could tell you some stories. So my dad sent me a car. All it said was, I promised you 4, love daddy. I know what that meant. This is your 4th year coming up, and I only had I was like a sophomore and a half. I was like a junior and a half. Man, do you know I took 24 hours and 24 hours, both semesters, made the honor roll both semesters, and graduated on time, and graduated on my birthday, May 21st, 1978. And that's when I realized you can do whatever you want if you really put the work in.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
My daddy wasn't playing.
Not at all. And you have your father's desk too, right?
Yeah, but his desk behind me, that desk now is about 70 years old, somewhere in there, but that's Pop's desk.
Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. I love this. Just so you know, I'm one of those fans in the back, always cheering you on, seeing the things that you do. I love what you're doing on your blog and stuff. And I want to talk about kind of what motivated you to kind of share the wisdom that you do on your blog.
One of the things I'd learned over life is you experience life. It's important to share it, the good, the bad, the ugly, because every now and then somebody hears something that says, you know what, I can do this, or it'll be okay, or don't give up. You know, it was so many little things and people in my life who just shared those words of wisdom that meant so much to me. And so I found that it's important to just share of ourselves to help others. And I'm a firm believer, One is you help others and expect nothing in return. But two, what we put in the universe comes back. It might come back to my children or my grandchildren, So I'm a firm believer, put good into the universe. So you got that bank account. And when you need it, it's going to come back to you. And the other thing is, I'm not greedy. I believe greed chokes. It's enough for everybody. I don't count other people's money. I don't care what other people are doing. People say, who's your competition? I go, I don't know, because I don't work about my competition.
That's
I work
right.
about what we doing and how to get better.
When I look in the mirror, what I'm concerned about. What can you say to, this is a loaded question I'm asking you because I don't have the answer for this, but I want to. My mother passed in 2020, but my biggest fan on the planet was my mom. And she used to walk around in the neighborhoods and stuff in College Park where we moved. She'd do her daily walk, I think. And then she got to the point where she stopped walking. And I was like, Mom, why you not walking? She said, these boys. She was concerned about these young boys in the neighborhood, and things were changing. And she was like, what are we going to do about these boys? The way she said it, this is my response, Dave. I said, Mom, we're working on it. I said, and she kind of looked at me. I said, well, T. Dallas Smith and Company, I'm focused on making sure that we show some people who look like me and you. There's an opportunity out here to do some stuff other than playing football, singing, dancing, or, stealing, doing drugs. That there's a thing called commercial real estate. There's a thing called construction, where, guys that we know have done extremely well. My mother asked you that question. What are we going to do about these boys? Dave, what's your answer to her?
I think one of the first things we have to do is give people hope. You got to think about it. Some of these young folks, they have no hope. They don't see anything positive in their own life. So I think one of the things, that's why I share my story so openly, because many people have been abused from different things. Trauma comes from many things: poverty, racism, physical abuse, sexual abuse, alcoholism. So I try and share and give people hope, regardless of what you've been through. You can still have an incredible life. And I really go out my way to make sure I'm approachable to anybody. I talk to anybody. And one of the proudest things I get when people say, man, I never would have thought you was C.D. Moody because you're so regular. But I think it's important that we give hope to people and we help these young folks see there is an opportunity. Don't give up so easy. Don't give up. But I think the biggest thing is hope, because hope is what got me through my darkest time. I had my faith and hope. You lose hope and you have no faith, what do you have to lose? And that's where a lot of people think. We got to create ways to give people hope for a better day. And I think the biggest thing also, none of this happens fast. So we got to also teach patience. One thing I learned on hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, it was an 8-day hike. And the first 4 days, I would always ask my guide, whose name was Moses. That's kind of deep, ain't it? Every day I go, and we started at 7,000 feet. So we were already in high altitude to start. And every day I would go, all right, Moses, where are we going today? It'd be 6:37 in the morning. And he'd go, Moody, we're going up there. We're going to go 8 miles, 5, 10 miles, 2,000 feet. And I noticed the first 4 days, I was always focused on where I was going. So it made the hike a little bit more difficult. When you're going a long distance with switchbacks and stuff, it don't look like you're getting very far. Then on day 5, I said, you know what? I'm not going to look more than 20 feet in front of me, and I'm just going to enjoy the journey. I'll get there when I get there, and don't worry about it. And then I realized I had been living my life the way I hiked the first 4 days. I was always looking at the end. And in reality, the end is death. So don't be in such a rush to get to the end. Because you know what? We're all going to die. But not everybody knows how to live. So my focus is live. And part of it is, even though I've always been a happy person and enjoyed life, man, wrestling with trauma of childhood sexual abuse and trying to keep that hidden and buried, I tell people all the time, be present. Because there was oftentimes I was physically present, but I wasn't mentally present. Because I was either wrestling with the anxiety or I was worried about something at work on a project or how we're going to make payroll or whatever it might be. And now when I'm with family, friends, or anything, I really work to be completely present because many times we don't get those such opportunities again, especially with our children because they grow so fast or loved ones. And I've had 2 friends dying in the last 4 months since our reunion from Morehouse, our 45th. Then another friend had a heart attack last week. And it just re-emphasizes to me, be present, but live life and just enjoy it. And we all got a story, and don't let the stuff push you the wrong way.
I got 2 things I'll ask you real quick, and we're going to wrap up. There's certain people I associate with what I'm going to say, and you're definitely one of those people. If I think about campus fraternities, and I'm going to think about Omega Psi Phi, I got to think about C.D. Moody. So, just for a minute, talk about your love for the fraternity, what it has meant for you.
You know, it's funny. I pledged 1976, and I'm blessed that all my line brothers are still alive. It's 7.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And we were called Bicentennial 7 because it was 1976, and that was the bicentennial. What's interesting, though, I'm purple and gold, but my best friends, one is 2 were Qs and Kappa, Sigma, and my son's a Sigma. And the one thing is, when I was in school, some of your best friends were different fraternities. So I was never one of those people where I only hung with people in my fraternity. And as I aged, I enjoy it. But people go, man, how do you feel about your son plays at Sigma? I said, that's my son. I love that dude. That's what worked for him. I'm probably one of those people, I talk a lot of junk, mess with people in a fraternity, but it doesn't define who I am. I enjoyed it in college. It was most fun because we were the only Black college that had a frat house on campus. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
There are stories I can tell you. Because Thursday night, we had parties in the frat house in the lounge, and it was don't bring your girlfriend night. So I can tell all kind of stories.
If they want to see a little bit, they just need to watch Spike Lee's movie.
Yeah, well, actually, that's very close. His movie School Days was real close. I mean, in the 70s, it was off the chain. I mean, I tell folks, 1974 to 78 in Atlanta was unbelievable. You know, the Black colleges were in their heyday, and it was just a beautiful thing. The fraternity, all that was fun. I mean, I love stepping and cutting up, but it's a unique Atlanta, and I tell this to people. I know everybody thinks the city's great. Now, I'm not bashing any other cities at all, because I think wherever you live, you make the best of it. But there's no place like Atlanta. It's just a special place that great things can happen, and they do happen.
David, this is my last question to you. Your legacy in the industry is undisputed. But what do you hope people will say about C. David Moody, the man, when it's all said and done?
He cared about other people. He was transparent to help others. And he really wanted to be the best at what he did as a builder. But more importantly, he wanted to be a great citizen of the world. And he wanted to change lives for the better. So maybe we don't have so much hate, so much war, and that we build a place that the generations that come behind us can truly be as one and protect this planet and just have a great life.
Amen. Well, I've been here with David Moody Jr. Thank you for being on the Black. And my prayer for you is that you will always be in the Black. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what? All my cars I drive are black on black in black. So I'm in the black at all times.
This has been In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. To find out how you can change the dominant narrative in the commercial real estate industry, and challenge the status quo to improve the lives of others, go to tdsintheblack.com. In the Black with T. Dallas Smith is a production of Forbes Books.